And Jai Sachidanand, Anila, and Luz, Monica,
Jai
Cecilia,
Sachidanand Shuddha.
Carlos, and Sandra, Devdasi, Herman. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sa. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand. Let us begin with the three mantra from Carlos. Huh? Carlos, three mantra.
Carlos, cantaste el trimantra, por favor.
San Carlos dijo.
Carlos ese.
Yes, Carlos will say.
Namo Vidraga. Namo Harikantana. Namo Siddhana. Namo Ariyana. Namo Vasayana. Namo Loya Sabha Saunan. Pantanamukaro Sabapava Panasano Mangalananta Sabasi Pagamantavai Mangalan. O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O Namah Shivaya. Satitana. Namo Vidragaya. Namo Harikantana. Namo Siddhana. Namo Hariyana. Namo Vasayana. Namo Loya Sabha Saunam. Esopantanamukaro.
Mangalanam cha savesim
Paramam Tavai Mangalam. O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O Namah Shivaya. Jai Satchitana. Namo Vidragaya. Namo Harikantana. Namo Siddhana. Namo Hariyana. Namo Vasayana. Namo Loya Savasaunam. Esopantanamukaro Sabapavapanasano Mangalananta Sabasi Bhagavan Tavai Mangalan. O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Satchitanand. Jai Satchitanand. Jai Satchitanand. Jai Satchitanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Thank you, Carlos and Sandra. Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Jai Sachidanand. All right, so we now continue with in the series of our Vyavasthit satsangs. This is number 55 and the number maybe 5 of the special Aptasutras of Dadashri on this 26th of January 2022.
Bueno, hoy vamos en el día de 26 de enero de 2022, vamos a continuar con la sesión número 55 de estos especiales Aptasutras de Dadashri.
And for this we are extremely, absolutely grateful beyond words to our dearest Dada and to the entire multiple evidences of various nimitz who have made it possible for us to understand this.
Y más allá de todas las bendiciones y la gracia de Dada, vamos a tratar de que la intención es que se multiplique el entendimiento de este conocimiento de Dadashri.
It is, we accept this that has now arisen as the exact understanding. We accept it and let it, and as we understand it more, it will become part of our experience.
Yes. Entonces nosotros ahora aceptamos que hay una razón exacta en este entendimiento. Cuanto mayor entendimiento haya, mayor experiencia habrá.
And as we experience more the self, as we experience the self, the ama more, the understanding also continues to be exact, correct.
Yes. Cuanto mayor experiencia del ser o del alma tengamos, vamos a tener mayor entendimiento con exactitud.
So I will share the screen and we proceed.
The last time you were in Gujarati's page 8, Aptasutra 37:17. That was the last we have done.
Right. Aptasutra
And
30.
in English, page 12 of 47.
Right. And we did finish that Aptasutra, did we not?
Yes.
And so now the next Aptasutra is on page 15. Do you see this? I've shared the Dadavani, and this is now on page 15. This is the Aptasutra 3902.
Ahora dice, ahora vamos a estar vamos a ver hoy el Aptasutra 3902 que está en la página 15 del Dadavani de octubre.
October 2019. That was 2019. We are almost 2.5 years past it. So here we are with that Dadavani. And Aptasutra 3902 says that the temporary state Avastha is nothing but a natural creation. There is no father figure as its creator. It is Vyavasthit. It is naturally Vyavasthit. Moreover, that is so throughout time, infinite time. There is no such, there is no, it is not, this is not such that someone has to create it.
Un estado temporal, Avastha, no es más que una creación natural. No hay una figura paterna que actúe como un creador. Es Vyavasthit. Es naturalmente Vyavasthit. Además, eso es así a lo largo de un tiempo infinito. No es algo que alguien tenga que crear.
We have previously given you the subtle difference between a temporary state and a situation, but again, let us go there. You see, that which is continuously happening in front of us is the coming together and the movement and the dissipation, coming together and dissipation of circumstances. You see that circumstances arise and circumstances dissipate. Circumstances arise and circumstances dissipate. Morning comes and evening comes. Morning comes and then night comes, like that. That is circumstance.
Bueno, estuvimos hablando de los temporales, de los estados temporales de las situaciones, ¿no? Y todo lo que sucede frente a nosotros son las circunstancias que se agrupan, vienen y después se disipan.
No.
Se juntan y se disipan las circunstancias.
No, the circumstance, you see, is called sanjog, sanjog, or sanyog, coming together, sanjog or sanyog, circumstance, you see. Circumstance is that which arises and goes away. Rain and then sunshine, rain and sunshine, night and day, etc. Circumstance, you see. And a situation is that in which one is involved. Yes, a situation is that which involves the self, you see, in which involves the self, the small self, you see, gets involved. Oh, I got wet, or it's dark and it's night and I have to go to bed. You see, so it becomes a situation. So the situation is the involvement in the circumstance.
Yes. Sanyog es circunstancias, ¿no? Y las circunstancias surgen y se van. Por ejemplo, llueve y sale el sol. Es de noche y después es de día. Es una situación en la cual nos involucramos no desde el ser, sino desde lo relativo, ¿no? Me enojé, es tarde, tengo que ir a la cama. Nos involucramos en las circunstancias.
You know, right now a lot of people in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, in all over Europe, and then people especially in the countries that adjoin Russia are are facing circumstances, and many of them are involved in it, you see. So the circumstance and the involvement in it, you see.
Por ejemplo, ahora en Europa del Este, por ejemplo en Ucrania, con este tema de Rusia, hay un montón de personas que están enfrentando circunstancias en las cuales se involucran.
Yeah, circumstance in, from here we can see the circumstances are arising where everything looks rough in Ukraine from here, but it's much more involvement for the people who are actually in Ukraine, is it not? And the soldiers on both sides of the border.
Podemos ver cómo surgen las circunstancias, que son circunstancias que son duras, y entonces todas las personas se involucran, y sobre todo en las fronteras.
Right. So the circumstances are there, but you can see now. Maybe they make a big noise, and then with all the efforts that are going on, maybe they'll say, "Okay, no, we're not going to fight. Let's just we're happy. We're not going to fight. We got what we wanted." You see, and so the situation. So the circumstance comes down, and also for those who are involved in it, the situation for those people who are affected, you see, it also calms down.
Las circunstancias están allí, podemos ver, y puede que haya problemas, ¿no? O peleas o guerra, y luego deciden que no van a luchar. Entonces se van. Entonces vemos cómo las circunstancias desaparecen, ¿no? Primero surgieron las circunstancias del conflicto, y luego las circunstancias se van, y se van felices. Las personas involucradas siguen adelante decidiendo no luchar.
So you see, now this particular translation says it's a temporary state. Well, both are temporary. You see that the situation as well as circumstance, both are temporary. But
Both of which one? Sorry,
this
circumstance.
and the situation, both are temporary, are they not? The circumstance as well as the situation, both are temporary, right?
Podemos ver particularmente los estados temporales, y vemos que tanto las circunstancias como las situaciones son temporales.
But what bothers a human being is his or her situation. What will happen? I am feeling good, I am not feeling good, the body is not feeling good, the body is having some issues, the body is a little the body has got some issues going on, but the person says, I am not feeling good. No?
Por ejemplo, lo que le molesta al ser humano son las situaciones, ¿no? Y puede ser que el cuerpo tenga algunos temas, y la persona va a estar diciendo, no me siento bien.
Yes, so the exact definition of avastha is a situation, not a temporary state. Temporary state is the interpretation, is it not? It's a, you're saying, oh, it's temporary, but what is temporary then? The answer is your situation, the situation that you find yourself in. You and I find ourselves in situation of the mind, situation of the bodies, situation of words, you see, that have been spoken. So, if you have entered into it, or if you are involved in it, it becomes a situation, right? Avastha. Avastha.
Entonces, la exacta definición de Avastar es la situación. Y los estados temporales son una interpretación de eso, porque las situaciones suceden en la mente, suceden en el cuerpo y también suceden en las palabras. Entonces, el tema es si te involucras en la situación.
So, if you want the exact English, it's in that Dadavani that I have shared before, and that is this. Let me see here. It's the same original English Dadavani that I had shared, but somehow this is the translation that we are currently dealing with. You see, this is, I have given it in the chat now, but anyway.
Este es el exacto Dadavani, si nosotros queremos profundizar en esto, que fue traducido para nosotros, acaba de compartir el link. Shuddha.
Yeah, right. If you look at it here, you will see, and I'm giving it to you now. This is the Dadavani of October 2019. Every situation is a natural construction, you see. Creation, when we say creation, it almost kind of gives you the image, especially you people who are used to this monotheistic religions, creator, God, God created this world, in Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, they say creation, but so it's actually a construction. It gets constructed and it gets deconstructed. So the situation of your mind, situation of the body, situation that you find yourself in due to speech is a natural construction. It has happened naturally.
Yes. Acá en el Dadavani de octubre de 2019, es lo que estamos leyendo, ahí lo vamos a encontrar. Y dice que, por ejemplo, que el creador, habla del creador, ¿no? Y esto es en las religiones monoteístas, la católica, la musulmana, estas religiones donde hay un Dios que creó. Pero y todo es una construcción y una deconstrucción. Las situaciones suceden naturalmente.
You see, Avastha, I'm writing this down in the chat. Avastha means involvement. No, it means situation. Avastha. And Avasthit. Avasthet, these are Gujarati words, but they're very precise. Avasthet means be part of the situation. In other words, you have now gotten involved. You see, involved. I feel tired. You'll say, I feel tired. Oh, so, the body is, circumstances of the body are such that it is happening, and by saying, I feel tired, I feel tired, I feel achy, I feel sleepy, you became involved in that, and that is called avasthit. Avastha and avasthit. Avastha and Avasthit. Or, oh, I feel great, I am energized, let's do something, let's go out, etc. So then again, you have become, it's also Avasthit. You see, you are in the situation.
Yes. Avastar es situación. Y Avasthit es ser parte de la situación, es envolverte, dejarte envolver, involucrarte en la situación. Por ejemplo, decís, me siento cansado. Y es el cuerpo, la circunstancia del cuerpo. Y yo diciendo, me siento cansado. Entonces, ahí es donde te involucras. Y después dices, el cuerpo se siente bien, entonces dice, oh, me siento maravillosamente, salgamos. Y eso es involucrarse. Avastith, envuelto en la situación.
Yes, and this is a very beautiful. Elsewhere, Dada has said, wherever and whenever in our past life we became involved, avasthet, we became involved. This again in this life is our Vyavasthit. That is our Vyavasthit. is the Avastha of past life. You see, in other words, wherever we were involved in the last life, that effect is now there as Vyavasthit. Is the Vyavasthit in this life, you see.
Yes. Acá hay una hermosa palabras de Dada que explican esto, ¿no? Y dice, siempre que en la vida pasada te hayas involucrado, Avasthit, en esta vida también nos vamos a involucrar. Y es un Avasthit de la vida pasada. Es un efecto y es Avasthit en esta.
And this is so precise. If plenty of things were happening, plenty of, like in finite circumstances and things, events were happening in a previous life too. That is not the problem. The ones in which we got involved. Oh, I'm happy. This is mine, mine, I am, this is happening to me. That is now arising in front of us, you see, in front of us. That is now, that is our Vyavasthit, and that is what is, and that is our Vyavasthit. That is our scientific circumstantial evidence, my scientific circumstantial evidence, you see.
Yes. Es tan preciso Dada cuando dice que todas las circunstancias que se presentan en esta vida son circunstancias de la vida pasada. El problema no son las circunstancias, el problema es involucrarse con lo que surge frente a nosotros. Y para nosotros ahora, esto es, Yavasthit son las evidencias científicos circunstanciales, son mi evidencia científica circunstancial.
So just and that situation, of course, for all of us is temporary, you see. So that situation is temporary. The situation is temporary.
Y por supuesto que esta situación es temporaria, ¿no? Esto que surge, todo lo que surge frente a nosotros es temporario. Y la situación es temporaria.
You see, You know, you see a little girl crying very badly. She is crying and crying, you know, and is she going to continue to cry forever? No, you know, after a while you go and she's smiling and laughing and playing, you see. And you believing, oh, she is suffering, is now, you know, you got involved in her situation, you see. It was her situation, but you got involved in it, you see.
Yes. Ves, por ejemplo, una niña que está llorando y que está llorando muchísimo, pero no va a llorar para siempre, en algún momento va a parar. Pero tú dices, oh, siempre está llorando. Pero soy yo la que me involucro cuando digo va a llorar para siempre, porque es su situación, la de la niña.
So every human being of the entire world believes the temporary states, believes the situation of the mind, speech and body to be their own activity. They believe they are doing it, you see. They are in it. They believe it to be theirs. Really speaking, as the self, as capital, Amapura, one is not in the state as a doer even to the slightest extent. The person is not doing it. They are all vibrations of the ignorant state. And they have arisen from a natural creation of which no father figure is its creator, a natural construction of which there is no father figure as its creator or constructor. This Dada, the Gnani Purush, has himself seen it in 1958 and all prior to that also, before stating this, before opening it up to all of us.
Cada ser humano del mundo entero cree que las cosas temporarias, los estados temporarios, en realidad son situaciones de la mente, del habla y del cuerpo, es su propia actividad. Y que verdaderamente son como el ser, eso es lo que creen. Uno no está en el estado del hacedor ni en la más mínima medida. Todas son vibraciones del estado de ignorancia y han surgido de una creación natural, de la que no hay una figura paternal que sea su creador. Este Dada, él mismo, el Gnani Purush, lo ha visto antes de afirmar esto.
The situation of the mind, speech, body are nothing but a natural creation. This is a Gnanvidhi sentence. The situation of the mind, speech, and body are nothing but a natural construction in which there is no father figure who is its constructor, creator, and it is Vyavasthit. Yet if one learns just that much, then he has accomplished the 48 agams, the scriptures of Jainism, which so why must that statement hold so much essence within it, you see? Dada is asking. This is the end. You don't need to study the entire scriptures of the fundamental of the relative religion called Jainism.
There's a sentence, why must these statements hold so much within?
Yeah, it's written here, down,
Sí.
down
Okay,
below,
okay.
it's all here.
Los estados temporales o las situaciones de la mente, habla y cuerpo son nada más que una creación natural en la cual no hay una figura paterna creadora, y es Vyavasthit. Si aquí, sí, así que si uno llega a aprender solamente eso, habrá logrado los 48 agnans de las escrituras del jainismo. ¿Por qué deberá cosechar por qué deberá contener esa declaración tanta esencia en su interior?
Questioner, it must be because all avastha, all situations are based on Vyavasthit. Somebody gets involved in his mind, somebody gets involved in his body, somebody gets involved in, what was said to her. All of these are based on Vyavasthit is the answer, questioner. And Dadashri says that means an avastha is nothing but is a natural creation. This is so important. An avastha is nothing but a natural creation. It's natural.
Pregunta. Debe ser porque todos los Avastha se basan en Vyavasthit, y Dadashri dice, eso significa que un Avastha no es más que una creación natural.
So then, and the question is, but it is indeed based on the circumstances, isn't it? Now the word circumstance comes versus the situation. The questioner says it is based on the circumstance, is it not? And the other she says, yes, it is indeed based on circumstances. It is why this is scientific circumstantial evidence. If one learns just that much, then he has learned all the 48 agams. We do not see anyone's fault in this world. What is the reason for that? It is because we have the awareness of all this Gnan, all this knowledge. If you have the awareness of just this one statement, this Aptasutra, you will not find fault in anyone. What a beautiful sentence. Amazing. Okay? All right. Let you read
Yes.
it.
Pregunta, pero pero en realidad se basa en las circunstancias, ¿no? Y Dadashri dice, sí, verdaderamente se basa en las circunstancias. Y es por eso que con evidencia científico-circunstancial, si uno aprende tan solo esto, ha aprendido todos los 48 agams. Nosotros, con mayúscula, no vemos falta de nadie en este mundo. ¿Cuál es la razón de eso? Es porque tenemos la conciencia de todo este nan. Si tienes la conciencia de tan solo esta afirmación, no encontrarás falta en nadie.
An avastha, a situation, is nothing but a natural creation. When that establishes within, you will attain Atma Gnan. Atma Gnan, knowledge of the self.
Un avastha no es más que una creación natural. Cuando esto se establezca en tu interior, tú alcanzarás el Atma Gnan, el conocimiento del ser.
Dada Shri is saying, why don't you speak this sentence again?
Y Dada dice, di esta afirmación nuevamente.
And so you, on behalf of all of these people in Spanish, you, Patricia, read this thing again. And una avastha.
Ujú. Un Avastha no es más que una creación natural. Cuando eso se establezca en tu interior, tú alcanzarás el Atma Gnan, el conocimiento del ser. Y di esta afirmación otra vez.
Yes, this is amazingly beautiful, amazingly beautiful. You know, this, when you really look at it this way, in avastha, a single situation is a natural construction. You see, and when this fits, you see, when this fits, then that is called knowledge of the self. That is self-knowledge. That is Atma Gnan. That is self-realization. The self-realization.
Wow. Avastha es una situación y es una natural construcción. Y cuando esto se fijó en tu entendimiento, este es el conocimiento del ser, obtienes el conocimiento del ser, el Atma Gnan, que es la realización del ser.
Mm-hmm. It you know, it fundamentally begins with not the circumstances that are all around in this world or even around you. You know, what's going inside the house or what's happening, you know, with all the people in the home. It comes right down to the situation of the mind, what's happening in the mind, this mind, what's happening in this body, and what is happening in the mind body because of the sounds and the words that are going on. And you know, and that is a situation. If that is a situation that is very specific to me and it is specific to each one of us, that is different, you see. And when the focus is on, when it comes right down to this, then there is no one else to blame, is there? There is no one else that's doing it. It's happening right here. It's happening here inside. How can I blame this person who is sitting here or there? It's happening here inside.
Beautiful. Este fundamental entendimiento, conocimiento, es que las circunstancias no son las que suceden en el mundo o en el hogar. Las situaciones que suceden en este cuerpo, en esta mente, y por lo que sucede en esta mente y en este cuerpo surgen palabras. Y son situaciones que son específicas para cada uno. Y cuando el foco está allí en ese entendimiento, entonces no hay hacedor, no hay culpable, porque donde está sucediendo es en mi interior.
Yes, and so the questioner repeats, an avastha of mind, a situation of the mind, speech, body is nothing but a natural creation. Because Dada asked him or us all to repeat that. It was so important that Dada is just saying, say it, say it, say it, say it. Keep on saying it until it really becomes part of your knowledge. Mm-hmm.
El que pregunta dice, entonces un Avastha de mente, habla y cuerpo no es más que una creación natural. Y Dada ya le había dicho, ¿no? Que di esta afirmación otra vez y dila y mantén tu atención allí.
Mm-hmm. 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 Dadashri says there is no one father figure, Bapo as its creator. I say Bapo, father, so that people will like it and have enjoyment. That way the fear goes away. You see? The fear goes away. There is no Bapo up there. There is no father figure up there who is judging you or who is going to punish you. So why are you being scared unnecessarily, you see? The statement puts away all the three monotheistic religions on one side, you see. One will say, he did it, or that other person did it. Or, if you're not blaming somebody on top, that you cannot see, you say, oh, he did it, or the other person did it. Or he'll say, the stars did it. Hey, do the stars remain where they are, or do they come down here? Why would the poor stars do anything like that? Each one remains where he is. You see, the sun remains where it is. So each displays its own inherent nature. Its light cannot be prevented from being projected out, can it? The sun,
Entonces Dadashri dice, no hay una sola forma paterna, Vapo, que es un creador. Y digo Vapo para que la gente se lo disfrute, se entretenga. Así el miedo desaparece. No hay un Vapo allí afuera. Así, ¿por qué te asustas innecesariamente? Alguien dirá, él lo hizo, o esa otra persona lo hizo, o dirá, lo hicieron las estrellas. Oye, las estrellas permanecen donde están o vienen aquí abajo. ¿Por qué las pobres estrellas harían algo así? Cada uno permanece donde está. El sol permanece donde está. Así que una, cada una muestra su propia naturaleza inherente y no se puede evitar que su luz se proyecte, ¿verdad?
Vyavasthit means scientific circumstantial evidence. Our people refer to that as nature. Our people, generally they say nature, Kudrat. Whichever circumstance comes together, they exhibit their own individual natural nature, and in coming together, they exhibit new properties too. So when two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen come together, water arises, water is made, water arises. Similarly, this comes together, all of this comes together and then dissipates, eating, drinking, followed by excretion. This is scientific circumstantial evidence. Puran, filling, galan, emptying. You see?
Yes. No hay una sola figura. Vyavasthit significa evidencia científico circunstancial. Nuestra gente se refiere a eso como la naturaleza. Cualquiera sean las circunstancias que confluyen, exhiben su propia naturaleza, natural e individual, y al unirse luego exigen nuevas propiedades. Cuando se unen dos átomos de hidrógeno y uno de oxígeno, el agua surge, se produce, viene. Del mismo modo, esto se une y se disipa. Comer y beber seguido de excreción. Esta es la evidencia científico-circunstancial.
You see, this is an interesting sentence. This is, whatever circumstances come together, they exhibit their own natural nature, their own, and also because of the combination exhibit new properties. You see, when clouds, from a distance, from the sky, they are white in color, but when they come close together, their color changes. Now, are they white or are they black? And sometimes they become so dense they gray and they almost becomes black. You see, now the cloud says, hey, I'm neither white nor black, but it appears that because they have come together very densely, come together too much. You see.
Yes. Cualquier circunstancia es su naturaleza, es una de propia naturaleza, natural, es una forma natural de su naturaleza. Por ejemplo, ves las nubes las ves de lejos y son blancas, pero tal vez cuando se acercan y vienen muy juntas o son muy densas, parecen negras. Pero las nubes dicen, hey, no soy no blanca ni negra, es porque estamos muy, muy juntas que se ve así.
And you see, the appearance is highly modified by the intellect, but for the knower, for the seer, it is a situation that is Vyavasthit, that is all. You see, for the one who says, this is Vyavasthit, this is a natural construction, you see, then there is nothing else to say. There is nothing else to give opinions about. Because the intellect will say, oh, is it black now? It's gray. It was white, but now it's gray, and now it's black, and why is it black? And, but the point is, it's an avastha. It's an avastha. It is a situation, you see. And one is, and it is there in front of me. It is there in front of me. That's all. Sorry, so let me just say this. It's in front of me, or I can get involved in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
La apariencia es modificada por el intelecto. La situación es Vyavasthit, ¿no? Esto es Vyavasthit, ¿no? Una construcción natural. Y no hay más que decir, y tampoco hay más que opinar, no hay que emitir una opinión. Pero el intelecto va a decir, uy, la nube es blanca, uy, la nube es gris, uy, la nube es negra. Pero este es el intelecto. El punto es que Avastar es la situación, es lo que está enfrente de mí o que yo puedo involucrarme en esta situación.
Mm-hmm. You know, we have all, as children, as children, we have played with kaleidoscopes. That little instrument that you're given as a toy, and then you look inside, and then you rotate it, and you see this magnificent patterns and colors. You see.
Yes.
You keep on changing, you see.
Yes.
Mm.
Somos como niños, todos somos como niños que jugamos con un caleidoscopio, que son esos juegos que los vamos girando, tienen hermosos patrones con muchos colores y cuando los vamos girando van cambiando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's really, inside is nothing but there are 6 pieces of glass, you see, and then as you turn them, the process of turning changes the pattern, the light changes, and the result is that you see these different patterns, and that is how it is. Those things are the movement of those pieces inside, produces different results, and so it is in front of us. Everything is moving. In front of us, everything is moving. At the subtlest level, everything is moving. At the molecular level, things are moving. Only the knower is absolutely still. You see, everything else is moving.
En este caleidoscopio, adentro son solo 6 piezas de vidrio que al girar estos vidrios se mueven y generan diferentes patrones. Entonces son los momentos de las piezas dentro de esto que produce los cambios. Pero todo se mueve frente a nosotros.
Mm-hmm.
Todo se mueve frente a nosotros y se mueve constantemente.
With every spoonful of food that is placed on the tongue, there are so many effects. There are so many different tastes, and the next spoon that you put in your mouth tastes different. The third one tastes different. Everything keeps on changing. It's the same bowl of soup, but every spoon, if you're watching carefully, if will taste different. Will taste different.
Esto es como una cuchara con comida, ¿no? Que ponemos en la boca y la primera vez que lo hacemos vamos a sentir un sabor y la segunda cucharada vamos a sentir otros sabores y así vamos viendo que todas las cucharadas que ponemos en la boca saben diferente.
You sit, you sit with a friend of yours. She is visiting you or he is visiting you. You sit for 15 minutes or half an hour. There's continuously changing, continuously changing presence. You see.
Yes.
Continuously changing presence by the presence of 2 friends sitting each other, continuously changing effects, continuously changing situations.
Yes. Por ejemplo, 2 amigos que están sentados por 15 o 30 minutos están cambiando la presencia, por la presencia de los amigos, ¿no? Es un efecto de cambio, está continuamente cambiando.
So Shuddhatma, let's take a break. Let's take about 10 minutes break and then we will return.
Vamos a tomar.
Yes, and I know that we have the Parayan of Aptavani 1 today too, so we will try to close it exactly in time. Yeah.
Vamos a tomar 10 minutos de recreo y Shuddha sabe que después tenemos el satsang del Aptavani hoy, así que vamos a cerrar en tiempo para poder estar allí. Thank you, Shuddha.
Thank you.
Jai
Thank you.
Sachidananda.
Jai
Thank you.
Sachidan. Jai Sachidan. Jai Sachidan.
Jai Sachidana, gracias Patricia.
Jai Sachidana.
Jai Sachidana, Patricia, gracias.
Gracias, no. Jai Sachidananda, gracias a ustedes por estar.
Okay. Shall we proceed? Yes. Your microphone is muted.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Seguimos, están todos allí ya.
Mhm. Does anybody want to say anything here in this group?
¿Hay alguien que quiera comentar algo en este grupo o preguntar?
Everybody wants to share anything about their situation.
¿Quieren
Avastha
comentar alguna situación, avastar
or circumstances. Yes.
o circunstancias?
Circumstances don't bother you. Circumstances come and go. Situations that happen are programmed. Situations are programmed. So whatever situations we find ourselves in is programmed, and the difference between us and all of us here who are the
And the
difference
difference.
between
Por favor, pueden apagar los micrófonos si nos van a preguntar.
the difference between us and people of the world is that we know the one whose situation it is, and who really does not get who does not get involved to the point where there is oneness in that situation. There is always the separation inside, and therefore it does not last. That situation, that involvement is temporary. Whereas for the other people, the involvement is associated with complications, you see. Further
Yes.
involvement multiplied by involvement. Ours is, for all of us, there is the involvement because it's an effect of our neighbor, file 1, but then there is no further multiplication of it, you see.
Yes. Las circunstancias vienen y se van. La situación está programada para cada uno de todos nosotros. La diferencia entre nosotros, los Mahatmas y el resto, es que nosotros sabemos qué es la situación y no nos involucramos al punto de volvernos uno con la situación, porque la separación está presente y entonces si nos involucramos es por un corto momento. En cambio, para los demás, lo viven como si fuera una complicación, y entonces se multiplica la complicación porque se involucran. Para nosotros nos involucramos, el que se involucra es el archivo 1, el file 1, pero como está la separación, lo hacemos solo por un corto tiempo.
Mahatmas become, the situation cannot be avoided. The situation, the avastha is the unfolding. Avastha will be there for a Mahatma as well as a non-Mahatma. It's part of the discharge. It's part of the effect. It's part of what was programmed. The only difference is there is because of the beauty of the separation, because of the awareness that is always there, Ayosama Pura, and much more. There is the link, the multiplication, the blaming of the other person, blaming anyone is not there, you see. Oh, he did it. He's the reason why I'm feeling this way. Or, you see, that is the multiplication. Blaming anyone else for the situation that one finds. The situation of the self. The situation is very specific and tailored for Carlos, Herman, Devdasi, etc. The situation.
Los Mahatmas sabemos que la situación es Avastar y que es una descarga y sabemos que es parte del programa, ¿no? Y esto está presente por la separación y el conocimiento de que soy alma pura y por el link de no culpar a nadie por lo que está sucediendo. Para las personas que no tienen esta posibilidad, empiezan a culpar a las otras personas por las situaciones que vienen a su vida. Para nosotros la situación es diferente porque sabemos que las situaciones son diferentes para cada uno de nosotros porque sabemos que somos el ser y todo lo que sucede, bueno, le sucede a Carlos, a Germán, a Devadasi y le sucede la situación que tiene programada
Not
o
only that.
cargada.
This thing is really an amazing awareness. This thing is this every situation is a natural construction. Every situation is exact and orderly, you see. It's called Vyavasthit, means it is exact and orderly. It is not out of order, you see. It is Vyavasthit by its nature. And this is how it has been for infinite time, you see. So this view, this vision, this awareness is associated with flawlessness. You see, this is pure knowledge, you see, and therefore there is no one to be blamed in here. There is nothing called a fault in this. There is nothing called a fault here. You know, the word fault does not exist in this view.
Yes. Este maravilloso conocimiento con una situación es una construcción natural. La situación es una construcción natural y esto está en orden. Es Vyavasthit por naturaleza y así fue por infinitos tiempos, infinitas vidas. Esta visión, este conocimiento está absolutamente relacionado con ver a todas las personas, a todos los seres libres de faltas. No hay absolutamente nadie a quien culpar. Y de hecho, no existe la palabra falta.
If this sentence remains for a day for you inside, amazing bliss arises. The blissful one is aware, and this is the knowledge of the blissful one. The blissful one has no fight with the situation. Situation of the mind, the situation of the body, situation of words. There is no fight with any situation.
Para nosotros, involucrarse o la complicación dura un día. Entonces después la dicha surge porque está en el está en la conciencia, en esta conciencia que tenemos, en este conocimiento de los dichosos, ¿no? Y entonces no existe la pelea con la situación, no existe la pelea en la mente, no sé, existe, sí, la pelea con la mente, con la situación de la mente, del cuerpo o de las palabras que surgen.
Yeah,
Ni con ninguna situación, no hay pelea con la situación.
You see? And so, it absolutely, this awareness of the situation, is associated with absolute non-doership. There is no doer at all. This is why this is a phenomenal Gnan Vidi sentence, you see. This is a magnificent Gnan Vidi sentence, you see.
Yes. Este absoluto conocimiento de la situación nos muestra de que no hay hacedor. Y esta es una fenomenal oración del Gnani Vidi.
In fact, major portions of our Gnan Vidi are involved in the separation part, and then the qualities of who am I? I am infinite energy, I am infinite vision, I am infinite bliss, etc. But only after all the qualities of the self are recited, this sentence comes, you see. Only after the self has been experienced in the Gnan Vidi, that then the Dadashri says, Avastha matra kudrati rachana che. Man vachan kayani avastha matra kudrati rachana che. The situation of the mind, speech, and body is simply a natural construct. It's a natural construction.
Yes. La mayor parte del Gnani Vidi es la separación y las cualidades de quién verdaderamente soy. Soy absoluto conocimiento, absoluta visión, absoluta energía, absoluta dicha. Y luego de recitar estas palabras viene la experiencia. Y podemos ver que las situaciones son del cuerpo, de la mente, del habla. Y todo esto es una construcción natural.
Yeah, in other words, in the Gnan Vidi, in the 48-minute Gnan Vidi, majority of the time is involved in the self. Who am I? I am this, I am this, I am invisible, I am indestructible, I am pure. You see, all the qualities, you see. And then after the self has been separated, then what is left is the situation of the mind, situation of the body, situation of words. That which is left is this, that is in front of me, the situation in front of me. I am now here and this is in front of me. You see, this is in front of me now.
En otras palabras, en los 48 minutos del Gnani Vidi, estamos absolutamente involucrados con yo soy esto, yo soy el ser, y yo soy el ser invisible, indestructible, puro. Y luego de la separación, ¿qué es lo que queda? Lo que queda es la situación del cuerpo, de la mente y de la palabra. Es esto que está frente a mí.
This, my friends, this, then, it's almost as if to say that now there is nothing more that I can give you. There is nothing more to learn about the Ama. The light up until now was in front of you and you were still outside the light. You were still trying to grab the light. And now then you enter the light itself. You enter Gnan Prakash, the light, absolute knowledge only. And what are you left with? Then you are left with the situation. You're left with the situation of Luz, Carlos, Anila. This situation, and that, where am I? Well, I am the knower of these situations now. You say, I'm knower of this situation. Nothing else. You say,
Esto es como decir, como que no hay más nada que aprender. Antes la luz estaba afuera y todos estábamos intentando tomarla. Y ahora estamos en la luz y dejamos la situación de Carlos, de Anila, cada uno deja la situación. Entonces somos los conocedores de esta situación.
And just like the sun or the moon or the clouds or the rain, you see, all of those will show their nature. Everything that comes in front of you will show its nature. Its nature. It will show its nature. Your gentleman friend comes, his nature is there. Your lady friend comes, her nature is there. Everything that comes in front of you just shows its nature. You see, and the nature of your friend and file one coming together also produces new stuff, but it's just in front of you, not part of you.
Yes. Por ejemplo, la luna, el sol, la lluvia, las estrellas, todos estos vendrán y mostrarán su propia naturaleza. También las personas de nuestras vidas, nuestros amigos, familiares, todos van a venir y van a mostrar su naturaleza. Van a estar mostrando también su archivo 1. Y nosotros podremos darnos cuenta de que no son parte, no me pertenecen.
Yeah. Simply exhibit, show their nature. That is how it is. That is how it is. That's it. This is how it is. There is nothing to get surprised about. That is how it is.
Yes. Esta simple muestra, ¿no? de la naturaleza y poder ver que esto es así, es como es. Entonces, no es todo esto es y no hay sorpresas.
The intellect is totally been wiped out. The intellect projects Oh, even before you open a letter, the intellect says, oh, I wonder what's, is it going to be something bad? It's just intellect projects, and the light of the self allows you to see it as it is. As it is. If you become established in yourself, then everything remains as it is. The multiplier is gone. The multiplier was the intellect. The multiplier was the intellect. The opinion giver was the intellect, you see.
Yes. El intelecto es el que proyecta. Por ejemplo, recibes una carta y el intelecto va a decir, no, no la abro, la devuelvo, ¿qué debe decir? Pero la luz del ser te permite ver que es lo que es lo que es, y todo permanece enfrente. El, el multiplicador se fue y el intelecto es el que multiplica.
Yes, okay, so again and again, and in this understanding of the many Aptasutras of Vyavasthit, today's session, Dadashri has shared with us an actual Gnani Vidhi sentence. Very, very important. This is, how would he have constructed this sentence, you see? He did not construct it. It became part of our liberation. The sentence of this Gnanvidhi arose in front of us and continues to liberate us. Every time you look at it, it liberates you. Every time you look at this, it establishes you in moksha. There's nothing beyond this. This is how it is, you see. As long as there is a body, there is going to be an avastha, a situation, you see.
Yes. Esto sucede de nuevo y de nuevo y de nuevo, y Dadashri nos dice que naturalmente Nanvidi, esta oración que es tan, tan importante, y él no construyó nada, él solamente nos entregó el camino a la liberación. La oración de Nanvidi surgió frente a nosotros y nos libera continuamente y nos establece en moksha. Es así. Y mientras que haya cuerpo, va a haber situación.
Yes. It is not something that somebody has to make. It is not something that someone has to create. It is so. This is how it is. This is how it is. And this is actually moksha. This is moksha while living. This is moksha while being in a body, you see. This situation, and every situation, you see, every situation is natural. It's natural. There is no interferer in this. You see, there is nobody pushing it, nobody doing, nobody creating a situation inside you. It is not now. This is not talking about anything outside the body. This is a situation that is inside this body that is called Luz, Anila, Olga, etc. You see, be still and know. Be who you are and know this. That's it. It's over. This is forever. This is how it is.
Yes. Nada que alguien tenga que crear o hacer. Así es como es. Es moksha mientras que vivimos. Es moksha mientras que estamos en este cuerpo. Esta situación y todas las situaciones son naturales. No hay quien interfiera, quien empuja, quien haga, quien crea. Es una situación que sucede dentro de mi cuerpo, dentro del cuerpo de Luz, de Anila, etcétera, de todos. Y sé quién eres y sabes que esto, the last word, I do not understand what I wrote down. Y sabes que esto es así.
Yeah. You know, there are this visible circumstances, subtle circumstances, and circumstances of the speech. You see, so they are external and are dependent on external factors. You see, स्थूल संयोगो, सूक्ष्म संयोगो, वाणिना संयोगो, स्थूल visible circumstances, subtle circumstances, and circumstances of speech are external and are dependent on an external thing. In contrast, and some of them leave a situation, some of them create situation, some circumstance of the mind, some circumstance, some visible circumstance of the body, some invisible circumstance inside, and some invisible circumstance of the speech, subtle. They create a situation, you see. They create situation. But that is Vyavasthit. That is Vyavasthit. Why did it create that is how it is. That is how it is.
Yes. Hay circunstancias que son visibles, sutiles y del habla. Estas circunstancias son externas y dependen de algunas cosas y también crean situaciones visibles en la mente, visibles en el cuerpo, en el habla, y todo esto es Vyavasthit. ¿Por qué cree? Es como es. Es como es.
You and I can keep on probing it, you see. Can keep on talking about this, but the important part is the ability to see it, the ability to to see it. If once, while it's happening, you see, while some situations are such that too many things are happening, and Patricia or Shuddha will get involved in it and all kinds. At that time, that is the involvement. That is the involvement. But the blissful knower has awakened. The blissful knower has awakened, and there is zero further multiplication of it. There is zero entry into it for another charging, another more of the same. You see, it's over. It's that layer is gone. That is over. That is over. You see.
Yes. Podemos seguir hablando de esto mucho, pero lo más importante es poder ver cuando surgen las situaciones y no involucrarnos. Pero el dichoso conocedor despertó y hoy hay cero entrada en multiplicar o en cargar más de lo mismo que hemos venido haciendo. Esa capa se fue, se terminó.
You see, this Dadashri says Vyavasthit is swabhavik in Gujarati, and let me write this down because it's kind of important. Vyavasthit is swabhavik. This Vyavasthit is swabhavik means, swa means my nature. My nature. Swa means of the self. And swabhav means my nature. My nature means swayamapura, my nature. Vyavasthit has also got its nature. Vyavasthit has its nature. So now you see, there is ama and Vyavasthit. That's all.
No. Dada dice que Vyavasthit es swabhavik. Swa es la naturaleza y Vavik es el ser. Entonces es la naturaleza del ser. Y Vyavasthit es naturaleza y es la naturaleza del sol, de Dios. ¿Y qué es lo que queda en definitiva? El alma y Vyavasthit.
When we say it is naturally Vyavasthit, in fact what we are trying to say is Vyavasthit is in its own nature. Naturally, Vyavasthit is in its own nature, and ama is its own nature. And the self is the self, and the everything Vyavasthit is in its own nature. And let me look at this thing. Vyavasthit છે તે સ્વાભાવિક છે and the અનંત કાળ સુધીનો છે. Vyavasthit is in its own nature and it is so throughout infinite time. This is very deep, you see. It's very deep. There's only the two. There's only the two, the ama and the Vyavasthit.
Es solamente el alma y Vyavasthit. Y acá dice, es naturalmente es Vyavasthit. Y más allá que está, y más todavía, está más allá de tiempos infinitos. La naturaleza de Vyavasthit la propia naturaleza del alma y del ser. Solo queda alma y Vyavasthit.
It's an amazing sentence. That Vyavasthit is in its own nature. You see, Vyavasthit swabhavik che. Swabhavik che. Ama is in its own nature. Ama is in its own nature, and Vyavasthit is in its own nature. Where is the problem? The problem is the wrong belief. The problem is of the one who says, oh, this is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? I did it, you did it. That's where the problem is, you see.
Esta hermosa oración de Vyavasthit, ¿no? Y de la naturaleza de Vyavasthit, la naturaleza del alma. El único problema es las creencias, ¿no? Las opiniones. Esto me pasó a mí, ¿por qué me pasó a mí? ¿Quién me lo hizo? Esas son las creencias, es el problema.
And then they all go to sleep every night, do they not? Whether he's a soldier who is worried all day long in the in the deep trenches, in deep winter, in the border between Serbia and Russia, you see, walking around, oh, what's going to happen? When are they going to attack, you see? Or whether it's you and I, everyone goes to sleep in the night, do we not?
Y luego de todo esto, todos nos vamos a dormir. Tanto el soldado que está caminando y peleando y preguntándose qué es lo que va a pasar en la frontera entre Rusia y Serbia, y nosotros también. Finalmente todos nos vamos a dormir.
And if war starts, no matter how many bullets he fired and boom, 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 etc., whatever he's doing, or whether, you and I are doing whatever we do in our living rooms, we all both he goes to sleep and we go to sleep too, right? Do we not?
Y no importa cuántas balas dispare el soldado, y nosotros sentados en el living, y después todos finalmente también iremos a dormir.
So where's the problem? What's the problem in this world?
Entonces, ¿cuál es el problema en este mundo?
And the world is a puzzle itself.
El mundo es un rompecabezas en sí mismo.
There are two viewpoints to solve this puzzle, one relative and real. And the relative is Vyavasthit, and I am Soyamapura.
Entonces, después de ver todo esto, ¿no? ¿Cuál es el problema, no? Y el problema es que el mundo en sí mismo es un rompecabezas. ¿Y cuál es la forma de resolver este rompecabezas? Con estos dos puntos de vista, desde el relativo y desde el real. El relativo es Vyavasthit y el real es yo soy alma pura.
In relation to the situation of Graham is currently in this situation. I am the blissful knower of that. That's all. You see, this is happening to him. This is his situation. Yes.
Por ejemplo, ¿cuál es la situación de Grimm? Y es yo soy el dichoso conocedor. Y esta es la situación de Grimm.
No one has to make it. No one has to construct it.
Nadie tiene que hacerla ni construirla.
No one has the capacity to change it.
Nadie tiene la capacidad para cambiarlo.
No one changes it.
Nadie cambia. nada.
Yeah. That is how it is.
Y así es como es.
Vishuddhatma Bhagwan, let's close it for today, unless if somebody wants to say anything. Or I think that this is so profound, which Dada is just giving it to us, and we are deeply grateful for Dada present here in this satsang.
Esto que acabamos de ver hoy es absolutamente profundo. Esto que Dada nos dio es tan, tan profundo. Así que vamos a dejarlo por hoy. Y estuvimos en la presencia de Dada. A menos que haya alguna pregunta.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Jai Satchidananda and Shuddha, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gracias, Pati.
Yes, everyone.
Vishuddhatma Bhagwan.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand. Everyone.
Gracias, Shuddha, Jai Satchidana, todos.
Yes, let us. We
Gracias,
will all
Shuddha, Jai Satchidana.
and in a little while we will join the beautiful Parayan with our Gnani. So this is all beautiful.
Ahora nos vamos a encontrar con el Parayam de Gnani, que es tan, tan hermoso.
And the beautiful evidences of satsangs, huh? Jai Satchidanand.